Greetings, LTCC community. Thank you for tuning in. I'm here to share with you, on behalf of the leadership and the Board of Trustees, our plans for the campus reopening. I want to encourage you to watch this till the end. We'll share a number of key dates and things that you could expect as we move forward. Undoubtedly, we should celebrate all that we've accomplished in this past year plus. It's been more than 400 days since we've been predominantly remote. And during this time, we continue to keep business moving, keep the organization operational, and serve our students. But we also must recognize that it was imperfect at times. And of course it was, right? We were thrust into remote work in the midst of a global pandemic with many other national challenges. But now we look forward to how can we come back and serve our students? How should we move forward? We know now that June 15th is upon us. That is the governor's stated date for reopening the California economy, changing mask guidance, and changing many of our physical distancing guidelines that we've worked with for the past year plus. As I've said previously though, we're not gonna make any significant moves here in the middle of spring quarter, so June 15th will come just as another date to us as we look to continue the spring quarter through our current protocols and processes, continue being predominantly remote, and really just find our way to the graduation ceremony. It's our intent to use the summer months as we look to transition. We've already shared that we plan to be open for face-to-face classes and full services in fall quarter. That's the expectation from the governor's office, and that's what we've heard is happening from our Area 1 far north California community colleges. These are the colleges that are closest to us in size and operation, and I could tell you that as of right now, many of them are already bringing their staff back to campus or have plans to do so over the summer months. As a campus, we did find a way to continue to meet the needs of many of our students. But when we look at the data, we know our enrollment's down. We know that we've served less first-generation students in recent years compared to previously. And we know both locally here at LTCC and nationally that our underserved students have been most impacted by this shift to predominantly or all online services and courses. And so we're looking forward to getting back and opening our doors so all our students are in a position to succeed. I recently spoke to one of our students who would have been on track to graduate this spring, but due to the pandemic and certain courses being online, has deferred taking one course to next fall when this individual could take it face-to-face again. And this is the story for many of our students as they've sat on the sidelines waiting for an opportunity to take that class back face-to-face or come in for those additional support services. I, like them, look forward to, a day when campus is vibrant again, when there's students laughing in the commons, when there's all campus events with many of you, right? That's something that we're looking forward to, and I know in conversations with many of our students, it's something they're looking forward to as well. During this pandemic, we've taken a very conservative approach as an organization, and I think rightfully so. We've made choices with safety at the forefront, and it's allowed us to continue our operations and take care of our students and our employees. To be clear, we couldn't have done this without our essential employees. And so I want to acknowledge them once again. They helped all of us continue to do our work remotely while serving our students. I also want to acknowledge the departments that went first, right? We said we would phase our reopening plan, and we did. In spring quarter, we opened the library, enrollment services, financial aid, counseling, and others. Thank you to those individuals who went first and allowed us to continue to serve our students and prove that we can be open safely. I also want to thank them by coming back to campus and working alongside of them again and helping shoulder the shared burden. So it's not just them that are opening our doors and serving our students, but it's all of us. 400 days into the pandemic behind us, and we know statewide that the pandemic is significantly lessening as it is throughout the nation. In California, recently it was reported that 2/3 of adult Californians have received at least one dose of their vaccination. This is a very significant milestone. And we know the more individuals that are vaccinated doesn't just only protect them, but it protects all of us as it slows the spread. Recently, there was less than 30,000 cases of coronavirus nationally in a given day. That was the lowest case number we've had in nearly a year in a given day. And that trajectory is projecting to continue. Dr. Larry Green and his calculus class recently did a projection to see where COVID cases would be nationally by September 13th, our first day of fall quarter. And what they found, assuming no one else gets vaccinated, right? So that basis, that we'd be down to less than 10,000 cases a day. This is pretty remarkable. Again, these are all data points that are showing that we are moving out of this pandemic. We know that June 15th is the day that the governor has established to reopen our economy. But what will we do as an LTCC campus? Well, we've always said that we would reopen with sufficient notice, with a phased approach, and with consideration of the science. And we're doing all three of those things. First off, our notice is going to provide you with multiple months to prepare for coming back to campus full time. We've already started our phasing as early as spring quarter when we reopen library, enrollment services, counseling, and financial aid. And we're going to propose a continued phase approach through our summer months as we look to reopen for fall. And finally, the science. We have followed the science this entire time. We've been conservative when we need to be conservative, but now we know that vaccinations are up, cases are down, and that by fall, we will be able to safely reopen this campus. So what are some key dates that you can expect? Well, first off, June 15th, as I've shared, is the governor's date to remove the tier system and remove many of the mask wearing and physical distancing requirements that we've lived under as a state and a nation. But we will continue as planned through our spring quarter to our graduation ceremony on June 25th. Now we're actually looking to Monday, August 2nd, to start to reopen our offices across campus in a hybrid phase, meaning not all employees on the first day, not all employees at once, but start opening our campus services so we could be ready for our fall quarter. Of note, Monday, August 2nd is actually 500 days since we originally closed, right? Remarkable. If somebody would have told me that we would have been fully remote or nearly fully remote for 500 days, I would have hardly believed them. As we look to move forward, we will ask all our managers to be back on campus full time, beginning Monday, August 2nd. That way they could be there to lead and support our employees as needed. And then we will look to transition and kind of have a hybrid month when some employees are in, some are out, but eventually transition to fully reopening our services and our offices by Monday, August 30th. Why Monday, August 30th? Because it's one of the latest dates we could offer and still be prepared for our Monday, September 13th return to campus by our students. We've always said we bring our employees back before we bring our students back. I will also note that Monday, August 30th is also when Lake Tahoe Unified School District will go fully back for their next 2021-2022 academic year. All their grades at all levels will be fully open, full students, full hours. So you could expect to those pre-pandemic K-12 support services for the students of our community, of which I know there's many of us with kids in this local school district. I want to share some additional dates as we try and continue to phase and transition this. So first off, on Monday, June 28th, we will move to our campus summer hours between 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. I know this is beloved by many and will again help us as we kind of transition back to the workplace. Additionally, we will have our first in-person Board of Trustees meeting on Tuesday, July 20th, right? They will go first and kind of start to demonstrate that we can safely come back together as a campus community. As we move into August, I already shared that Monday, August 2nd is when we'll start kind of opening up our various offices and be in that hybrid approach. But we have some additional days in August to help with the transition. One of them is Friday, August 13th, which we will establish as our annual Coyote Cleanup Day. This wasn't my idea. It actually was a recommendation from a handful of employees that said, hey Jeff, I got 2 years old worth of paper on my desk. Could I have some time to get into the office and get organized and clean things up? And so we're going to provide a day for employees to get into their offices and get resettled. Additionally, every year we have a campus team building event. We even did it during 2020, right in the middle of the pandemic. So that will be scheduled for Friday, August 27th. It will be face-to-face, predominantly probably a lot of outdoor elements, and it'll be an opportunity for our entire campus group to come back together before we rejoin on campus on Monday, August 30th as we prepare for the fall quarter. So one of the questions that I get is, what can I expect fall 2021 to look like? Well, let me just say this. We're not going to go back to fall 2019, right? We will evolve forward as we look to 2021 and beyond. We'll take many of the things that we implemented and learned since the pandemic. This includes tools such as Cranium Cafe to be available to students. We plan to continue that well into the future. The lending library, including Wi-Fi hotspots and Chromebooks, this is something that we will not move away from. So we will take many of the lessons from the pandemic in these evolving times and bring them forward with us into our future. One of the biggest questions I get answered is, what about remote work? What if I want to continue remote work? Well, let me say this. We will be working on an assessment of what may be possible in a post-pandemic approach. I am already reaching out to other institutions, talking to peers, and looking what's out there. But again, during the pandemic, we basically were thrown into remote work, and we've done it, and we've done it pretty well, but imperfect at times. So we will be looking to figure out how we can maybe offer something that's equitable to all. I know right now we have many of our on-campus employees covering special events, and sometimes they're doing double duty and have very broad shoulders as they're covering for their remote work counterparts. In the long run, that's not really fair to anyone, and so I want to be very mindful of that. But we will look at, is there opportunities for some remote work for certain functions, right? Certain positions in certain situations. But to be clear, we will not have any full-time remote work employees pre or post-pandemic, right? Because we are a service organization, and we do know that there are benefits of being here as an organization together, but it doesn't mean it'll be fully ruled out. So I've shared a lot of dates with you. I'd encourage you to reference this reopening plan that has some key dates, and just know there will be more information to follow. But at this time, the critical dates are Monday, August 2nd, when we start reopening all our campus services, although hybrid approach for our employees, not everyone on campus at once. And then that Monday, August 30th, when we look to come back fully and be able to support our students and be completely open in preparation for our September 13th fall quarter. So in summation, I want to share a couple of things. First and foremost, thank you and congratulations, right? We did it. We made it through this very challenging era. We are now coming up to the finish line. And the excitement is we get to turn the corner. And that's what I'm excited about, right? Seeing employees again, having those personal relationships, being able to pop into somebody's office just to ask them a quick question or check on how they're doing. Being able to see students in the commons and the classrooms on campus. I think you'll be excited to come back to this beautiful campus that we have. We have made some improvements while you're gone. We've been focusing on improving HVAC, improving layout, and improving the campus to be a better campus in 2021 than it was when we left in 2020. Thanks for listening fully and tuning in. I do really appreciate it when you take the time to be an engaged member of the LTCC community. If you have questions, suggestions, ideas, please shoot me an email. We want to hear from you as it helps inform our next steps. I also want to let you know that we will be scheduling an employee town hall so we could follow up some of these messages with further details and respond to any questions you may have. And I do look forward to a time when we could all be together again here on the LTCC campus. Thank you.